you laugh, sometimes you cry, sometimes you just remember some good shit. Welcome to the Bottom of the Bottom podcast. Welcome to the Bottom of the Bottle show. It is the BOTB show. I'm your host, Jay Walker III. That's my co-host, Carolina Dirt 803. What's good with you, player?
Hey, no, what it is Saturday night situations tonight.
Saturday night situations, for real. Look, it's that time of the year, man. We getting into my season. It's fall season. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to cool down. The leaves starting to change. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go out with 2 pairs of clothes, take 2 showers a day, that type of thing.
Yeah, because we in Carolina, boy, it's hot down here.
Yeah, man, for real, and in a real way. Well, y'all know how we do, man. Saturday night situations this week is special. Another returning guest, a family member to the BOTB show, and we are here tonight to talk about things financial and how you can kind of get your life together, man, and maybe potentially purchase that house or purchase that new car or just general things that we need to know that we don't talk about. So, coming to the stage today, Miss Jacquie Johnson.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Miss Jacquie, how you doing today?
How you doing, Miss Jacquie?
I'm doing amazing. How are you guys?
Absolutely. Doing absolutely well.
Good. I just want to say I can tell y'all are not Bama fans because y'all got me scheduled on Saturday night when Bama is playing Texas A&M at this moment. I see that, Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm sure half of my friends that I told them to tune in are probably like, "Are you crazy? We watch this
right."
Nobody watch no Bama. Nobody care about no Bama.
I mean, y'all play 15 minutes of watchable football, man. Y'all destroy everybody. Come on, man.
Well, let me say this. I am not a true Bama fan because I am from Florida. Always diehard Gator, for real, right? However, it's hard to get my friends that are here to join me when Bama is playing. Well, anybody, but especially tonight with Texas A&M. So I'm doing this solo. Even my husband is like, I'm going to watch the game. I'm like, okay.
I know, I know that's right. It's a difficult thing in SEC country. We fight that battle every week ourselves, so we get it.
Yes.
Yeah. Our Gamecocks are playing right now, also. So we know the feeling.
That's right.
Well, you know how it goes, or maybe you don't remember, but we're gonna do this thing called First Call.
Yep.
First Call, 10 quick questions, no right or wrong answers. Just kind of depends on how you feel in the moment that you feel it.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. Fruit candies or chocolate candies?
Fruit candies if it's the gummy lifesavers.
Okay. Hot or cold?
Oh, cold.
Always cold?
I prefer, yes. For me to be cold or for the weather to be cold. Either way, I prefer that.
Food, weather, whatever you like.
Yes.
Fast speeds or high altitudes?
High altitudes because I can get there faster.
Okay. Dream car. Your dream car, a car that you wanted or would like to own.
My dream car is a 1985 Monte Carlo SS.
Wow.
All black with the old burgundy in the inside.
Oh man!
If I could find one with 8-track, even though I can't play the 8-track, but that is my dream car.
That is very specific.
Yeah, she got a little gangster in
That's
her.
me.
She got a little
Always
thug in her.
wanted it. I be looking every now and then and trying to see what they got out there, but I ain't ready to buy it yet.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm sure you're gonna be able to find one here shortly. I'm trying to, they for everybody to go electric, and the
Yeah,
more I hear about these electric cars, the more I don't want to do
that's right.
it. My final question is my question that I've been running with. Um, White room, white table, 3 chairs. You got a seat. You got 2 empty seats, dead or alive. Who would you like to have a conversation with?
One, I would say my father, who he's recently passed, but I would definitely put him at the table. Let me think. Who else was the third? I think I would like to have a real conversation with Oprah. Not like TV, none of that. I'm talking about real conversation.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. That's my 5.
All right.
All right.
Different on different world. If they introduce you as a character, would you want to be a student or a professor?
Mm.
Oh, I think I like the students. My college life was great. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. So I would say a student.
All right. What college did you go to? Just to throw it out there.
I went to Georgia Southern University.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Um, since you said that, or I ain't gonna say that. We'll say Wheel of Fortune. Who would you like to host it?
Oh wow. Let me think. Wheel of Fortune. You know who I think would be great? My sister Jeannie.
Okay. Big shout out
Yep.
to
I
Genie.
can't think. I can't think of anybody like that's already out there famous. She would turn the corner for real. She would do good.
All right. Since I said that on Jeopardy, other than talking about money, what would be your
Uh-huh.
favorite category?
Uh well, I think I would be okay at it. I would think history. Eh, I don't know. I put myself out there and I get them all wrong, I'd be mad. But yeah. Let's go with history.
History.
American history, world history.
I would probably say American history.
All right. So you in the band, what would be your instrument?
Ooh, something that I don't. The drums. I don't
The
want nothing.
drum.
I have to sit there and put a whole lot of air into. I can't do that.
All right.
So I was about to say, I can't do it.
All
Drums.
right.
I think I can beat a drum.
All right. My last one. Roll Tide or Gators?
Mm.
All day the swamp, baby. It's all day swamp.
All day in the swamp.
As you
Now,
should.
that's
Look,
real
look.
fair.
Now when I go to work Tuesday, they're gonna be like, "We watched your broadcast. You sure you?" Yeah. They know I ain't giving it up. Gators all day.
And you
All right.
should. And you should.
That's
I mean, it's
right.
not like the Gators didn't have a good run in the past anyway. So
Oh yeah. They gonna come back. I think we got a decent coach in about a year or two. We'll be all right. We'll see what happens.
I'm not gonna hope against your hope as a Carolina fan. You know
I was
what I'm
about to say, we need
That's
y'all to
right.
lose
That's
this year.
right.
We can't have y'all have too good of a coach.
We got a good one.
saying? I'm just, this is my favorite season. As a bonus question, what is your favorite season of the year?
Well, I'll say this. Since I've been here in Alabama, I really like the fall because I think we have a true fall. You see the leaves change, all that stuff. It's really nice. You can throw on like just an extra little small jacket and go outside. It's nice. I like the fall.
Our
That's
fall is an extended fall. In the South, it's probably fall until our winters don't start until like mid-January.
That's right. That's how it was in Florida. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'm
I
happy
just
for it. I got out today. It felt real good. Probably like this morning, waking up, I went outside. I saw like 3 or 4 leaves fall.
Uh huh.
But it felt good all day today. Today was nice weather.
Yeah, it's been nice here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I,
tired of
I'm
sweating.
I'm I'm in. Look, the summer. I don't even.
Yeah,
Don't look at me. I ain't coming outside till about 9 o'clock, and it's still hot.
It's still hot.
Yeah. So
still can't breathe out there.
yeah. Well, here is better than it is Florida, because you know
Okay.
it's sucking your life out in Florida, but it's good.
Yeah, the humidity is definitely a thing around here. Also, your specialty, the thing that you are knowledgeable about, your gift to the podcast is your knowledge in the subject of finances. Um, Give us your start, a quick rundown of how and when you decided, finance was going to be a thing.
Okay, sure. So probably when I went to college, um, I went to college to be an accountant. And anybody who knows Georgia Southern, they know that's the party school of Georgia. They have a good time, and I had a good time. I had such a good time that by the time I really needed to start getting into the accounting field, my professor was like, you either gonna have a good time or you gonna do this homework. And so I was like, well, what's the next best thing I got? And so we switched to finance. And so finance, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with just how it all works, why it works, how it all comes together. And but the true road for where I now say the word financial wellness came when I graduated from Georgia Southern, and my credit score was horrible. It was like a 550, probably lower than that. I'll give myself 550. And I went to interview for my first job at what is now Wells Fargo, but it was Wachovia Bank. And they were like, "Look, you're good. Your grades were good. All this is good, but your credit sucks, and we don't want you." And I'm like, well, dang. And so when they said that, I was like, no, just give me a chance. I don't know. I didn't know. Like, even in college, I didn't know don't get every credit card. I didn't know that if I do stop paying them, this is going to be something that's going to haunt me down the road. So they gave me a shot. They gave me a year. Said if I didn't get my credit score up to 700 in a year, they was going to let me go. So in a year by a year, the first year came around, I was hitting 700, and not saying that I haven't gone back since then, because I have. It's a roller coaster. Life happens, different things happen. But what I've learned is, one, when the scores are high, I have a better peace of mind. I have more peace. I feel I'm not stressed. I'm not doing all those things, and I can go get the things that I want. But when the scores are low, I probably can still get things that I want, but I'm going to pay for it. And so,
Right.
so what I found is that it's possible to live a life where you can enjoy and not be as stressful. So when I got that credit right, everything else kind of fell in line.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
before we get into the meat of it, when you realized that, did you, like, after you graduated and you realized how important your credit was?
Mhm.
Did you go back to your parents and just be like, or did you go to your friends and be like, I could have been ahead of this? Like, did you just thinking about it? Because right now everybody's talking about, I wish we were taught it in school and all this other stuff.
Right,
But
right,
as far as you, when it was like after you graduated, they told you about that. Did you tell your friends and family and be like, I wish I would have known about this prior?
I think I went to my dad with that, but then he hit me right back with, "I told you not to go get those credit cards."
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
and
saying?
that's and that's what that's basically
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
at the same time, you said that, but you didn't help me. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You didn't school me really on what I should do and how to handle it. So because of that, um, he did tell me not to, but that didn't help. And I try, you try to tell people. I'm still trying to tell people, and people still, they either gonna listen or they're not gonna listen. But I'm gonna tell everybody until I can't tell them, and then if they listen, then we all gonna be better because of it. So.
So we had a viewer ask, what was the key to getting and keeping your credit right?
Well, and like I said, it wasn't, I fixed it. And then, anytime life happens, if you're this, there's so much, let me say this, there's so much to understanding how this finance thing works. And so the key was, once I got it, I didn't keep it. I went back down for a little bit when, I went through a divorce and different things like that. Helping too many people or those things. But the true key is One, understanding how much money you make and what you do with it. And then two, understanding how the credit process works. That will also help you keep your credit and maintain it throughout. So it's two things. You got to know what you have, how much money you have, and how much you're spending. But then two, you also have to know how the credit game works. And once you understand that, then your credit can stay and you can maintain it. It's sustainable.
So let's get like a blow by blow on that, because I don't think it's a good question, and I don't think anybody's really ever answered the ABCs or the one, two, threes of how credit works. Like the review process, how often you're reviewed, things that affect it, what delinquencies really hurt you. You know, I know they all do, but
Hmm.
let's
So,
just get
so,
a. Hmm.
so I will say this. I'll answer those questions, but I always go to the basics, and the basics are people always want to know how does the credit game work. But I always say, and anybody who knows me on here that's listening, you got to start with your budget, okay? But we're gonna go back to that because I'm gonna answer your question that you just answered. So many different things with the credit report and how the credit system works. The first thing you got to understand is what do they count on your credit? And how does it affect what they count? And what I mean by that is the credit score is broken up into like if you take a pie chart, right?
Mm.
35% of your credit is, and this is anywhere on the internet. I'm not teaching, I mean, you can find this, but to understand it is what is important. So 35% of your credit is based on you making your payments on time. How do you make your payments on time? You got to have money to make your payments on time. How do you know if you have the money? You got to have a budget. So you're going to keep hearing me going back and forth with this budget thing, right? So I know I'm not going to go out there and buy an Audi that's going to cost me $700 a month if I don't even know if I have $700 in my budget to pay for it. Just because they approve me for it doesn't mean I can afford it. Okay?
Right.
So 35% is how often you pay your credit. You make sure you make your payments on time. 30% of the big pie, so we're working on 100%. 30% of the big pie is looking at, like for example, if you have credit cards, your available credit. If you have $1,000 credit card limit, but you owe $700 on that credit card, that hurts your score. Does that make sense? So how much you owe has to be less than 30% of your credit, of your available revolving credit. So you got to understand that part too. So you can keep it at 30%, say $1,000, you owe 300, that's 30%. But if you put it down to 200 and run that balance, your credit score goes up even more. Now, I can't give you point for point. Nobody can do that. It's all a matrix, right? But those are two things. The third thing is 15% of your credit is what your credit mix is. Like, so I'm sorry, the length of your credit, how long you've had credit. Let me tell you what people do. People will tell you, oh, I'm going to go close this credit card because I'm trying to fix my credit. You should never. If the card's in good standing, you keep it open. Even if you have to go take that credit card, stick it under your mattress and forget about it.
Right.
Because, for example, if I've had something on my credit since, say, 2000, and I go and close that, that is going to bring my score down for two reasons. One, it lessens the amount of credit that I have outstanding. And two, it lessens the length of my credit history. Because if that was my oldest trade line and now I closed it, it's no longer my oldest trade line, right? So that's 15% of your credit. Understanding what's on there, how long it's been on there, that kind of thing. Then you got your 10% of your credit, which is the different things that you have on there. Do you have a credit card or any type of revolving credit? Do you have an installment loan? Do you have a mortgage? You can have 5 credit cards and you run them perfectly. Don't run them up or anything. But your score is still not going to be top notch because you don't have an installment loan on there. So that you have to look at that. And then the last 10% of it all is how much new credit. When you go out there, especially during the holidays, people always, let me go open this account, right? Or you're in the mall and they say, hey, if you apply for our card, we'll give you 20% off. Every time you're having a new inquiry, that is hurting your credit score. So all of that takes that pie and makes up 100% of what the creditors look at to determine what your score should be.
So, in a given year, in a given year, is it best to have? Because sometimes people want to buy a car, they want to buy a house, they want furniture, so they go get these cars. Should there be a max of maybe 4 or 5 inquiries per year? Would you say that, or would you say like maybe 2 or 3? I know it's different per person.
It is different per person. What I would say is try, if you're gonna go, if we're trying to play the game, if you're gonna go and you just got approved for a mortgage, right? And you're gonna go, so your credit was pulled for the mortgage. If you're gonna go and now try to buy furniture and get a furniture loan or a credit card for furniture or installment loan for furniture, go ahead and do it right then, because the number of inquiries that happens right then, that gives you time over the year to repair and give yourself time to go back into not having inquiries all throughout the year.
So it's not good to space them out. I know I hear some people like, well, I'll wait 2-3 months and then go.
It's still going to count as an inquiry. Yeah. Yeah.
So this question here, what happens when the credit card is closed because of non-use? What does that do to your credit?
It'll affect it the same way, because you went from having it with a established date, say, again, 2020, 2019, whatever, to now it's closed. So what you want to do is pull it out every now and then, swipe it, get gas, put something on there, pay it off, or however you want to do it. But the main thing is keeping it under that 30% usage, and also using it from time to time, so that way the creditors are not closing it for non-use.
Is there a soft credit check?
People do soft credits, like what we do at our financial institution where I work at the credit union. We do soft pulls from time to time. Like once you open your checking account, savings account, or whatever, those are considered soft pulls, and we can do those every so often just to see where you are. We also do that for promotional, right? Like we may get ready to do a big car loan push or something like that, and we may want to send you something that says you're pre-qualified. So all of that stuff that you get in the mail, that's what happens.
That is a soft pull. Okay.
Are those pre-qualified? Is that really just the fishing line to hook somebody in?
It's just a fishing line, because you still got to show your income. You still got to show your length of history at work, and they still have to look at your overall credit to make sure that you still qualify. Is your debt to income ratio too high? Let me say with this, when I say debt to income ratio, a lot of times, and this is why I do this to educate folks, so that when you walk into the car dealership, or you walk into a credit union or a bank or wherever, and you're asking for something, a lot of times people say, oh, they turned me down because I was black. Well, I'm black, and they don't turn us down. Now, I'm not saying that has never happened. What I'm saying is, now, because there's laws and different things in place, it's harder to turn someone down because they're black. Because if you walk in there and you know what your debt to income ratio is, and you know what your credit score is, and you've been on your job long enough, and you make the right money, why would they turn you down?
Right.
So understanding that's why it's important.
Let me ask you this, because the way the workforce is going, everybody's quitting their job. So what is good work history? Because you hear a lot, there's a lot of people out here quitting their jobs, and they need cars and housing market. But I just hear people switching jobs 4 or 5 times a year, especially over the last 2 years with COVID and all that. So what is good work history?
Well, and it changes with our times now. It also changes depending upon work history. Could be, I could leave where I am right now. I could leave Alabama One Credit Union, and I could go to Wells Fargo, right? And then I might stay there 6 months, and I'm like, I don't like this. I'm going to go to BB&T, or whatever the next financial institution is. That shows, yes, it shows some instability, but it also shows I'm in the same career path. Now, if I go from credit union to working in the daycare, and the income has changed, but the income is the same, and those kind of things, that's fine. Different institutions do different things. If you're getting a mortgage, they're going to look for longer, work history. They may look for the last 2 years. Do you have a tax return? Do you have, proof of stability for the last 2 years on your job? If you get a car loan, they may say, we'll look at a year, as long as the year is consistent. So it really depends on the lender, and it depends on the institution. But I will say this, the norm used to be 2 years of work history. That's what the norm used to be.
I was about to say, I know it ain't that, because people quitting their job left and right now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, and a lot of them, unless they're going in with no debt, they're going in with down payments or something, it is going to be hard to get what they're asking. They'll get it, but they're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And what I say by that is higher interest rates.
I was going to say that because some years ago, I got a car, and I asked I was asked about my payments or whatever, but I had called my insurance company prior to getting the car, and I just said, this is what I'm looking at. What would be my insurance rate? And he was just like, a lot of people don't ask that. Because like you said, you do got to factor that into your budget, whether you're paying every month, every 6 months, whatever you pay. You got to factor that insurance in the car. Like, you can afford the car note, but you might not be able to afford that insurance.
Not be able to be able to afford both of them. And I'll tell you something else, and I learned this since I've been at Alabama One, because we have our own insurance division. You should, if you know you're going to buy a car, you should start shopping your insurance at least 2 weeks before. You will get a better rate if you shop it 2 weeks before versus you buying the car and then going running and try to get insurance. And so shopping that rate, understanding that, and guess what? When you shop for car insurance, they pull your credit. Going back to credit.
When you're looking at, like, we have all these different apps and these companies, Credit Karma and things like that. You are a person that's not familiar with what their credit score might be. What would be the first step? Would it be to go to their local credit union or bank to get their credit pulled? Or is it safe to use those types of apps like Credit Karma and things like that?
I love Credit Karma, but I love it because it's a tool. It is not accurate. When I say it's not 100% accurate. However, if you go and upload Credit Karma right now and you work on fixing your credit, and then 3 months from now Credit Karma says you've gone up 20 points or 23 points, it is true that your credit has improved. Is that your accurate score? No, Credit Karma doesn't give you an accurate score. But it's a good tool for that, to kind of monitor your progress. It's a great tool for it telling you, you getting alerts in case somebody's stolen your identity. It's a great tool for understanding how to rebuild your credit. Some of the same things that I'm telling you right now is on Credit Karma. You can read through that and do that. If you want an accurate number of what your credit score is, then you should go to, it's called annualcreditreport.com. And when you type it in your search engine, you type it in www.annualcreditreport.com. Type the whole thing in, because there's so many different ones that will pop up that is not the accurate one. Now, annualcreditreport.com allows you to pull your credit, all three bureaus, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. The credit reports are free, but you would have to pay to get your score. But it's worth it because it's the accurate score from those credit agencies.
Yeah, because I could have sworn Credit Karma, I think they only really pull your credit like once a year or something. It was in small rating. I forgot what it was exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because it's something like that. I'm not sure of the exact time frame, but I know it's not always.
What are the differences? Would Equifax, TransUnion, and
Experian.
What are the differences in the way they score you? or if you know?
So there may not necessarily be a difference in how they score, it's a difference in who reports to them. For example, at Alabama One, we only use Equifax, right? When we pull credit, that means we report to Equifax. But for our mortgages, we report to all three. So what will happen is if you ever look at like Credit Karma and it says TransUnion says your score is 618, but Equifax says your score is 589. The reason why is because when you look at it, you should always pull a report and look at it line by line and see what's missing. Some places will report to all three, some will report to 2 out of 3, some may only report to one. So that is why your score may look different.
Okay.
Do you feel like when people put stuff in their kids' name, should I say? How do you feel about that when they honestly are? I keep hitting wrong, but when they honestly are trying to create a credit line for their kids, but knowing they can't, like them putting in there, they don't even have the money to do it.
Is that a possibility anymore? That you can still
figure it out. If they have their social, and their date of birth, I mean, you can do anything with social and date of birth. Especially if you've got a son, Jay, and he has your same name, right? You could do that. Even if he doesn't have your same name, you can do that. So I would say if you're trying to help your children, if you're truly trying to help your children, the best way to do that is if you have a credit card that's in great standing, that you're not over the 30% threshold, and you add them as an authorized user. That's how you can help your children, adding them to your credit cards as an authorized user. But if you don't make the payments right, it could also hurt them. So if you want to help your child another way, if they hit 18 years old and you want to get them credit, a secure credit card is the best way to start. $300, $500, that's how you can start. Or if you're going to buy them a car, put the car in their name. But somebody's got to make the payment, and they got to make the payment on time in order to help them.
So, and that's another thing, because you said on time. So my bill cycle is this, and then my due date is that. Is 7 days or 8 days. How important is it to make sure you hit that window?
It is. That's the difference between being, as long as you don't hit 31 days, right?
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
As long as you don't hit that 31, because after that 31, they're going to report it. So, but the tricky part of that could be, and this is why if you have credit cards, you should call your whoever the creditor is, and ask them if it overlaps for some strange reason. You need to know when your due date is versus when your cycle ends. But most of the time, you should be able to be safe within that 30-day window, making sure you make that payment. And there's some places that don't report until 60 days or 90 days, but they still have it in their system if you were 34, 35 days late. You may not see it immediately, but when they report it, they're going to report it accurately through the credit reporting.
That's another reason why I like Credit Karma, because it'll show you the months that you had on time in your history, and if you missed a month. So if you just like, damn, I know I ain't missed a month, then you can go back and look. Well, yeah, back in February, you did miss a month. So that's another reason why I do like Credit Karma.
Yeah, credit. I tell people, if you don't have any other way to track what you're doing, Credit Karma is a good resource. Just don't rely on it solely to say, Jackie, I know my credit score is 655 because that's what Credit Karma says. It's either going to be plus or minus. And I don't know how many, 30 points, 40 points, but it's going to be one way or the other. But it's not going to be accurate.
So what's the highest credit score achievable? I think I already asked you one time before, I think on the last episode, about the lowest I think that you help, but what's the highest credit score achievable for the people that don't know?
I mean, the score says 850. I've seen 855, somewhere around there, but that's like far and few between. But 850 is the scale. The scale will say, 450 to 850. I mean, you're seeing scores now, 398, 380. I mean, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I think 850 was what I heard, so I didn't know if that was true or not. But 850 is
Hmm.
what
You can
is
go.
what I
You can
heard.
get. You can hit. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, it's difficult, man. You know, you got people in difficult positions that live check to check. You know, now of course, a lot of times they put themselves in that position. But when you talk about being on a budget, and what's your best advice for those people that don't have that overhead? So they pay their rent, they pay their car note, they pay their insurance. Maybe they got a cell phone, and after
I hope they got a
groceries
cell phone.
for the week or bi-weekly, they got $13 left. Like,
Well,
how do
that's
you?
$13 is great. Some people have more months than they have money, as we say now, right?
Okay, for sure.
And so and when I talk about budget, I don't mean necessarily being on a budget. It's knowing what your budget is or your spending plan. Like right now in the financial world, where some of us are getting away from the word budget because people don't like it, and we say spending plan. It's all the same. And what that means is just knowing where your money is going. And that's what I mean by budget. Not necessarily that you're budgeting so that you can have $500 left at the end of the month. That's not what that is. That's saying, how much money do I have coming in, and I need to write down everything that's going out. And the reason why you do that is so when you do get to that point where you have more month than you have money, well, let me go back and see where I've spent it. Is there any way that I could save a little here? And when I mean save, meaning, if I went out to eat, and this is a big one for everybody, including me. I'll tell y'all a personal story, but if I went out to eat and spent and racked up $400 or $800 eating out, right? And then I also tried to go to the grocery store and I spent $300, but half of the food in my refrigerator is now no good because I ate out every day instead of cooking. Is that not a place I can save money? And
Right.
so these are real hard conversations, but you've got to if we could figure that part out, like, okay, I just spent $800 eating out, and I just threw away $150 worth of food. Like, what if I still eat out, but I only eat out $300, right? Because I don't ever want anybody to there's no sense in having money left over but you feel miserable. So if you like to go and get a latte, then go get a latte. If you like to go, and get um some, I don't know, juji bean fruits or whatever your candy is, and if that's what you want to do, then you do that. If you want to go to McDonald's every day, then go to McDonald's. But first, don't let your account be negative and you're giving up $35, or you can't put gas in your car because you're eating out all the time. Like, let's figure out a balance. That's all I want. I want to help people balance the life, not necessarily live and say, "Oh my God, I got to sit home and I really want to go to the movies, but Miss Jackie put me on this budget and I can't go nowhere." Nope.
Right.
So it does, and I know it does, but in your opinion, mental health with budgeting, how do they
Hmm.
go hand in hand?
Listen, they do, because, or I'll give you a perfect example. I had a gentleman call me and he said, "I need help, right? I make a lot of money, but I don't have anything to show for it at the end of the month." And so, just from a phone call, I said, "Tell me really quick, what's your biggest expense besides your mortgage?" And he said, "My dream car, I pay $1,000 a month on. $1,000." I said, "Is that including your insurance?" And he said, "No." He said, "That's just the car payment." How
Mm.
much is your car insurance?
What is he
Four
driving?
hundred.
Does it have wings on it?
Listen, can you live in it? Right? Can you live in it? Because how much is your insurance? $450. Car insurance. So you have a car that is $1,450 in an expense,
Shit.
plus a mortgage, plus you have 3 children, plus you have 2 other car payments, your wife and your mother-in-law's, and you gotta eat. Well, I make good money, Miss Jacquie. I don't want to give my car up. Now you can help me with anything, but just don't make me give my car up. And I said, I'll try my best. That's what I told him, right? Because I understand that is his thing. He wants to keep the car. And so I said, when you come see me, we're going to sit down and look at what you have, and we'll figure out a way if you can keep your car and have money left over at the end of the month. So he comes, and we sit down, and we write all these things out, and he makes great money. And I said, here's what you have to do. You got to cut this out. We got to pay this. We got to pay this. We got to do this. I said, if you can do all of these things that I've highlighted, you can keep your car. I have not seen or heard from him since. And I'm okay with that, because I've given you the avenue to be better. You have to decide and put that discipline yourself. So, and it wasn't easy. It would really be easy for him to go sell that car, but he doesn't want to sell the car. So you have to do all these other things. So are we, when you come to talk to me, are we disciplined enough to look at the spending plan and figure out how you can still make it? And listen, I teach this all the time, and I still struggle, right? I still struggle because there are just certain things that I want or my husband wants, and it's fighting him to do the budget, you know. And when you're married, you have to do these things together, especially if you are paying your expenses together. Then you should be doing your spending plan together. And y'all know we don't want to tell our spouses what we really spending. We got a job. Well, I got to tell you what I spend.
But not only that, like I feel the guy on the car, because you know another person might not be a car, it might be one of his hobbies or whatever that he spends the money on, but that's what keeps him mentally happy. Like that's just his go-to. So I kind of understand that, but also at $1,400 on that, maybe you can get the next to the best of your dream car.
Bruh, I'm trying to figure out, what does that look like?
I think I don't remember what kind of car. No, and it wasn't even nothing like that. What was he driving? I want to say something 2-door Camaro, Corvette. I don't remember. But listen, this is why he was paying $1,000 a month, because his credit was bad and he had a high interest rate. So it all you see how it makes a full circle. Yeah. Like, because you aren't paying the other stuff, you're making your credit bad. Because you don't have a budget, you're making your credit bad. So if your credit's bad, you're going to have to pay higher for the things that you want.
Why not pay off the 2 cars you got before you get that car?
Because I don't know this, but this is what I would think. I think when he saw the car and he went to the dealership and they were like, oh, we can get you in this car.
And that's all it took.
Right? That's all it took. Can you afford it? Oh, yeah, I'll work overtime. Y'all don't get me started on overtime, Elliot and Jay. Look. Whew.
Let's talk about
I'll work overtime. Oh, overtime.
This is what the people do.
Never, y'all.
It's not guaranteed. Yeah.
Should never be used to help pay any of your major expenses. It should never be used to pay your house, rent, whatever you want to call it. Should never be able to pay car note, car insurance, food, medical, transport, any of that. And it should never, because what happens is when that overtime stops, you talked about mental, right? You're ready to go blow your brains out, jump off a bridge, or trying to figure out how in the world you got yourself in a rut. Overtime should be used for things that you want to do and have that are extra. And if you have it, that's great. But if you don't, you should not be using it to pay your bill.
All right, I got a sensitive subject that I'm about to bring up. It's real sensitive, but it goes both ways. When it comes to child support, and budgeting, the fact that I'm a rapper and I gotta pay 20,000 child support, and the mother is saying I can't live off that, or vice versa. There's women that pay men child support, and the man saying, well, I can't live off that. Is budgeting being factored when? And I know you probably don't know, but your personal opinion.
Yeah, that's more of a court system thing there.
But still, yeah,
Well,
because it goes
I
around with
think,
their
I mean,
bills too. Because
well,
they're
I
taking
think,
them.
but your child support, in some females will probably not like me for saying this, but the child support is supposed to be not even a portion to me, a tenth of what it does to take you to raise your child. It is never meant to replace the husband, the boyfriend, and you go sit at home, because you will never get that much. And even these rappers that are paying $20,000, the fact that that person, whether it's the female getting it or the male getting it or whomever, when you're giving somebody that, their lifestyle is wrapped around that. But should your lifestyle be wrapped around that when it's only meant to partially supplement what you're getting? So
Feel like there should be a max. We telling kids that this kid is worth 1.5 million a year, and sir, you are worth a whopping 12,500 per year.
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
I don't think it's, you don't have that lifestyle, obviously, or you wouldn't have been chasing after that dude or that woman. What
Right.
makes you think you should get that lifestyle?
Right.
But
Right.
again, that's a whole different subject for me.
Yes.
No, well, I mean, because even after 18, you got people that's like you got men and women that's been paying child support for 18 years. Then when that child gets of age, now their budget is affected because for 18 years they've been getting this money, and now they're not getting it, and
And now they're
now
not getting it.
and
And
now
now,
they're
and guess what? No one taught them how to live or save with it or anything. So when they're 18, it's almost like they are broke,
Right.
right? They are broke, like that little dude on Instagram. Jay broke, like they broke.
He was funny.
Yeah, yeah, Jay broke, and they are, because they've lived that, and unless that's going to continue, and don't nobody want to continue paying child support when you don't have to. You counting down the days, shouting and jumping and running to the courthouse as fast as you can to show proof that 18 is here and you don't want to pay no more. That's
Yeah.
like another. That's like, and this just hit me, but that's a good example of overtime.
oh
Mm.
yeah
Good
yeah
example of
and I
overtime.
and I got a friend on the opposite side of the spectrum who, when his child turned 18, like he was dancing, he was ready because he just realized several $100s that he's about to save every month now.
Mhm. Mhm.
That he said he's about to go to the car lot.
Yep.
Yeah. I
So
will
now
be
he can
in it.
go. Yeah. Now he can go get the car. Right.
The car that he wants. Yeah. It's just something that I don't think people really talk about. They talk about the kids, they talk about child support, but as far as the budgeting and the money, when it comes to, does that child really need that much money? If technically the child's almost on the budget,
Mhm.
because if all
And
that money's supposed to go to that child, the
That
child.
child is a job for some people, because, like I said,
listen, y'all know how transparent I am. My child, after she hit 13, I think, her dad I said, look, just give it to her. Start sending it to her, right? Well, little Missy thought she was getting more than some people get in a month. Like grown-ups bringing home money, and was spending it like crazy. And so I called. I said, "Listen, I do this for a living, and she always broke. She ain't got nothing written down. She ain't got nothing." I said, "We will not continue to do this." And so he said, "I'm gonna pull back, right?" And I said, "Well, what you gonna do with it?" Really, it should be coming to me. And he's like, "I'm gonna put it in an account. So when she has the big stuff come up, I can go pull it and then, send you money or whatever." So now she's talking, "Oh, mom, I don't even get but $200 a month now." Girl, like, do you understand? I said, "Well, then you should spend it right.
Yeah.
Then every time her dad slowly but surely was pulling it down, pulling it down, pulling it down. But and some people were like, well, you should get the money, right? And I'm like, but listen, it's for her. I don't mind doing that, but what we're not going to do is just let her spend just because she can.
If
But
you have two people that are financially stable and adult enough to take care of this kid, I feel like it should go into a trust. They don't get nothing because they got
Right.
two parents that are feeding, clothing them, making sure they're getting their education. Let it go into a trust. You start your 18th birthday with
Yep.
$25,000 or whatever.
Or how
But
about money for you can go to college so you don't have to start getting these student loans?
that part,
but
that part.
and shouldn't, I mean, even if it does, isn't that a way for, like he did? That's a way for a child to learn to budget at a young age.
Right.
Yes. And
Um,
that's how it should be.
yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that should be something that should be focused on. Like if the court say you got to pay child support, I think they should offer, if you want, these are suggestions on what your child can do to also learn to budget, and maybe the parents pick up on something. 'Cause, I
Right.
mean,
Right.
it's something to option as an option. Like
And
the
and
Those are those are
you know the
ideal situations.
but
Most
but
people can't
but
find
those
the
are things
person.
that we need to fight for. And I
yeah,
and
that's
I'll
what I'm
and I'll
saying.
tell
Yeah.
you guys, the other Tuesday night I was in Birmingham, and I was asked to attend this legislative uh, cocktail hour with some of the senators and different folks from around the state of Alabama who are fighting for financial literacy to be mandated in the schools in Alabama. State of Florida, it's mandated high school, you got to take a semester of financial wellness. Now, is a semester enough? Probably not, but it's more than what we've had, right? More than what we have here in Alabama. And so I went to this meeting, and you can see it on my Facebook page, and went to this meeting, and had a great conversation with some of the local senators and people that are running right now, because election is November 8th, they'll be voting here, and talk to the and I can't remember his exact title, but Speaker of the House or something um, for Washington. All these people were there, and I talked to this one particular uh, guy that was had just and had ran for the House, and he won, and he and I were talking, and he's like, well, I think it should start in at home, and why do I have to vote for it to be passed for the whole state? We need to take care of our own self locally first. And I said, well, that's probably true, but we are beyond that right now. We are beyond, if in your district, if how many financial literacy classes are you all offering in your district? Well, I don't know. Well, the fact that you aren't offering any means that there needs to be some. And why does it have to start local? If we have an option to go before Congress and put this vote, well, first in the state of Alabama first, but we're also fighting for this through an organization that's throughout the country, where we're trying to make it mandated in all 50 states. If we can start in Alabama, why would we not start in Alabama? Right? Why would we not start? Why does it have to be, oh, just my district? We're not going to vote for that. But why would you not? I mean, and I couldn't get him to answer that question when I
Because he don't
believe
want everybody to be financially well off.
and probably not. And for the three of us on this phone, we grew up military, right? And he was in the army for 32 years. And I'm like, I'm not understanding your logic. I'm probably giving too much information, but I'm not understanding your logic behind you not wanting to have this bill go before the floor and have it passed. I just don't understand that.
What's
So
crazy
what I'm
is,
saying to you all, let
Mhm.
me just say this really quick. What I'm saying to you all is, as parents on this call, or if you don't have any children, but you have nieces or nephews or whomever, we need to ask for financial literacy to be taught in the schools. In Texas, it's mandated all the way from K through 12.
Mm.
And we teach it now. We have a third grade and a fourth grade program. We have a seventh grade program, and we have a high school program. There's ways to teach it on each of those levels, and they understand it. But we also at home have to be able to teach our kids the same thing, because we're in this age now in 2022. We just give our kids, we give. But are we teaching them anything?
No, we're gonna be in trouble because, like they said, I think we talked about last time. Social Security run out, like it's gonna be a serious problem. And if we have another economic hardship during that time, like I see so many homeless people out right now.
Well, we're in an economic hardship right now. Truth be told, the average home now spends an extra $350 a month in food cost. Right now, today, an extra $350 in food costs. Besides food, living expenses plus food, it's almost $1,400. So
right.
if you go back and think about it, and you look at things, what has changed if you're doing a budget, or why is all your money, or gas and all of these different things, you're spending more money now than you did 3 months ago.
Absolutely. You got to look at how easy it is to spend money now. You don't go nowhere without your phone. The phone is basically your wallet now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, I forgot to get, and you jump on Amazon and you like, well, shit, I need this too. And it's just a swipe, and you go back on about your business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And unless you are responsible and you cross your T's and dot your I's, you just spent a whole $37 that wasn't accounted for.
Even more so, Jay, think about this. My sister and I were talking, that lives in Florida and I live here. And she was in the grocery store and we were on FaceTime. No, I was on FaceTime. Yeah, I was in the grocery store. And I went to buy some cooking oil.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's high.
The cooking oil that, she's like, we laugh at my mama's from Georgia. Get me a small thing, right? A little small thing. Well, the small thing is now like $8 or $9, which used to be $4 or $5 months ago. So imagine, we haven't stopped cooking, right? We fried chicken all the time. So a the bigger gallon one, those are $20+ right now. When have we ever paid $20 for cooking oil?
You're right.
Peanut oil, like deep frying turkeys, I think it's over $40 now for a 5-gallon tub.
It used to be $17.
Yeah. And we talked about this last episode. My oldest, she did like Uber Eats or one of those things and somebody paid like $15 for one mac and coffee or whatever it is from McDonald's, just because of delivery costs. Yep. I don't think people are adding that to the budget. Like you said, if the food went up and now you're not going to get it yourself, and they're adding $8-9 plus asking for a tip, that's just money going out the window.
Yep, money going out the window. We went through it when COVID was happening, and I came across Instacart, with Publix. I think we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
And, Instacart, I'm like, oh, that's easy, right? Oh yeah, let me go ahead and order these groceries. And then I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, it said on the Instacart app that the prices of what you're ordering is higher on this app than they are in the store. So automatically I'm paying more off the app. 2, like you just said, Jay, I gotta have it delivered, right? And so now I'm paying delivery costs, all of that for what we call convenience. I said, oh, we're shutting this down. I'm going to go right down the street, 3 miles down the road, and go to Publix and get it myself.
Yeah, I'm in all these now.
Yeah, even all the off-brand stuff is high. Like even off-brand cookies that don't taste like nothing, they high. But real quick, because we didn't get to touch on it, I really wanted to touch on it. If we can touch on it for about 10-15 minutes. We got a lot of business owners in here. We got several business owners in here. Business owners, if y'all in here, please tap in and ask whatever questions y'all need. But right now with what's the thing everybody doing? The business shit.
PPP loan?
Not the PPP loan.
No.
I mean, if you want to talk on that, because
No,
I can't think of the
I
name right
don't. Not the PPP. I don't. I don't have enough knowledge. One, I
now.
just
Okay.
know that what we've experienced, but no.
Okay, the LLC, I think that's what I was talking about. LLC and
LLC.
how that affects, like, that's a business credit and not your personal, right?
That
Like,
is
it'll
correct.
Combination.
combination.
Hmm.
So, in somebody like me, let's just say I got a 400 credit score, and I apply for the LLC, and I'm trying to start a business, and the business falls flat on its face. It
Hmm.
doesn't work out. 8 months from now, but yet I'm still trying to pay my own bills. And I'm thinking if I start this business, it's going to work. Um, I'm trying to figure out how to word this correctly.
Can
How does it
well,
affect you if
how
the
does it
business
affect you?
goes
Yeah,
flat?
yes.
So with that, and this is if you go with the LLC and you're borrowing money under your business, as long as you're not signing a personal guarantee, right? You're not the personal guarantor of that loan, because that's how a lot of times that's what happens. You can go as a business and like my Jackie J LLC. But if I want to go and say I want to do a building and get a building under Jackie J LLC. If I get that building and that lender attaches a personal guarantor or a guarantee to it and I sign that, that's me personally doing that.
Mm.
So a lot of times, if the business does not have its own credit and if it's not secure, high enough or good enough, they will ask you for a personal guarantor. If they ask you to do that, then you then are still liable for that debt. Now, of
Personal
course, it goes to
guarantor.
the business, but it's as clear as day. You'll see it. It'll say, we're asking you to sign as the personal guarantor for this loan. It's going to have your social, your information, date of birth, and then you're going to sign your name.
I'm gonna
That
say
then means they'll try to come after the business first, but if they can't get what they need from the business, they can come to you as the personal guarantor.
the United States and just capitalism is built on a play of words. So personal guarantor versus a co-signer. If you're the co-signer of that business, is that the same thing?
Co-signer means you're co-signing to say that you are responsible for whatever debt.
So
So
what's the benefits of the LLC?
Uh, and I'd have to go back and look versus one versus the other, but it's really like a limited liability. It's really more for a tax purpose, and I'm not a tax person. I only did what my tax person told me to do. He was like, Jackie, you need this versus you needing this. So I can't really speak to that, but if you want somebody to come on and speak more on that, I definitely can find the person for you.
So the question is, if you're just starting your business, should you apply for any credit or be independent?
I think you build the the foundation of the business first, and then you go and apply for business credit. And what I mean by the foundation, that means, like, depending upon what your business is, making sure that you either have some assets or some money built up, because a lot of times for your business the same way, they may not necessarily go and just give you a business credit card. But if you've got, $1,000 to secure it by or $5,000 to secure it by, then you can get a secured card on the business side as well. And then that way you start your credit.
Mm.
So my thing is build it slow and then go. Now there'll be places out there, and this is the thing I want everybody to understand. There's always a way, but is it the right way? That's the thing. There's always a way to go get a car when your credit score is 400, right?
Always.
Always. There's enough buy here, pay here places.
Yeah.
But when you go get that car and you didn't make your payment and you go turn the key and it won't turn on, you're going to be like, dang, I forgot to make my payment because they shut it down.
Yeah.
So,
I would
do you
say,
want
hey
that?
man, look, just drive that car longer than 5 minutes. They'll put some sawdust in there to make it run for you.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to touch on business because we had a lot of people in here. So budgeting for a business also. is there a certain percentage you want to go over and set your bar at as far as getting supplies and services and paying your employees and all that?
With anything, you always want to start. You want to make sure that you have enough income to pay your expenses. That's with personal or business. How much income do I have versus how many expenses? If you know your business is just getting started and you only are bringing in $4,000 a month for that business, do not go out there and try to either put on a show that's going to cost you 10, or go buy some more equipment that you got to charge. If you got cash, then you use your cash, because you're always just trying to build. It's always about how much income you have coming in. Now, with the business is tricky too, because if you are in the service industry and you're gonna put your service out there. Say if you're an event planner, like everybody's wanting to start being an event planner. You're an event planner and you know that it's gonna cost you, and I've hired you to be my event planner, and it's gonna cost you $10,000 to do this event for me, but you charging me $6 because you want to undercut everybody. How is that helping? And that's the other thing. We've got to learn to charge what the true cost is, plus to make a little bit, instead of trying to charge and undercut, because you're never going to come out even. You're not going to break even.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Yeah, some people just they'll say they'll take the business to undercut. So instead of doing one job or one event, they figure if they undercut, they can get 3 or 4 in a month. And like you said, if it's not gonna help your budget,
and they're back at zero.
Yeah, and you're back at zero.
For sure.
Well, you've done an awesome job of delivering the information here tonight. Like I knew you would, of course, like you did last time. I just want to take the opportunity for people to connect with you in particular. If you want to give out your information, your social, in whatever capacity you want to share with the people.
You said your social?
Sure.
Oh,
he meant, I'm sure he meant social media. Yeah, don't ever give out the social. Please don't. I can be reached if anybody has any questions. It's along the screen. It's Jacquie J, and Jacquie spelled JACQUIE. JacquieJ.net is my webpage. You can reach me on LinkedIn under Jacquie Johnson, or you can also reach me on Instagram at Jacquie Girl Listen, and that's also JACQUIE. So Jacquie Girl Listen is on Instagram, and then Facebook is just Jacquie Johnson. And I'm open to helping people and doing one-on-one sessions, as well as by Zoom. If someone is not in the state of Alabama, I do this all the time. I welcome anyone who wants to kind of get everything in line, check their credit, do their budget. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, we're going to start with the budget first. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much debt you have. We're going to talk about your budget. So
be prepared.
Be prepared. And one thing is, I never show any judgment, because I've been there. I've probably seen more than you can realize, either personally or dealing with other people. So I pass no judgment. I just want us all to live a better financial life.
I know that's right. That's good stuff. Well, this is it, Carolina, man. We got another Saturday Night Situations. We are done for the evening. What you want to tell the people?
I want to say thank you to Jacquie first. We definitely got to have her back. We definitely got to have her back for another financial episode. Hopefully we can get her in here ever so often to help us with financing, because everybody needs it. And I know finance can be embarrassing for anybody depending on their situation, and everybody depending on their situation. So hopefully she can bring some comfort and allow you to ask questions where you don't feel ashamed or whatever. But once again, Network Superpower, tap in with us every Wednesday and either Friday or Saturday. But we're here to help. Bottom of the Bar is here to help in whatever capacity we can. We range in guests and topics just to help out. And we're here for everybody else. And we want we want to say we appreciate our guests and our viewers.
Absolutely, absolutely. I also want to extend a big thank you to Jackie J. She came in here with the proper energy, with the proper information. You know, sometimes it's not as complicated as it may seem. You just may need to hear it. We need to be beating the head sometimes with this. Some of us are out here struggling and we living, you know, hand to foot to mouth, however they used to say that shit. And
Yep.
it's more or less like, let's be disciplined. You know what I'm saying? And you can work this by yourself, of course, or you can work this with a group, man. Make it a competition. But you struggle anyway, struggle to put yourself in a better position. And that's what this was about today. Learning the ins and outs and things that you may not have known about basic finances. And reach out to Jackie J. She just gave you all her communication. You never know. I mean, if you didn't have a question tonight, you might have a question later. Reach out to her and see how she might be able to help you. But this is the Bottom of the Bottle podcast. I'm Jay Walking the Third. That's Carolina Dirt 803. Special thanks to Jackie J.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. Look, like, share, subscribe, all that good internet talk that we be doing. And outside of that, y'all be safe, man. Until the next time.
Have a good night, everyone.